Moviesucktastic is a podcast about bad movies and the people that love them. But it's more than just a podcast, it's also an online presence. If you want to know more about Moviesucktastic or want to become a part of Moviesucktastic, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Twitter at Moviesucktastic, you can find our blog at boothreviews.blogspot.com, or if you want to give your own reviews that we might use on the show, you can go to reviews.moviesucktastic.com and check out our own little lunch.com community for Moviesucktastic. Check us out and become a part of the show, because the only thing more fun than a bad movie is sharing it.
The KKK is planning an attack.
How do you propose to make this investigation?
I'm going undercover in the Ku Klux Klan.
You ready?
Born ready.
The wars are coming.
I gotta get in deeper with these guys. That's what I'm talking about. Power to the people.
BlacKkKlansman in theaters August 10th.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
But I think...
Fuck guys like you in prison.
Furthermore, you can all go fuck yourselves.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
Yeah.
Oh, hello, good sir.
Hello.
Hello. Hello there.
Welcome everyone to Moviesucktastic number 293.
Yeah, 293.
Got it right.
Yeah, you did, baby.
Woo! Episode 4 of our Oscar extravaganza. We're reviewing all the Best Picture films that are nominated. And this episode, we're on the second half of our black duo with BlacKkKlansman.
That's right. We
episode we did Black Panther.
We did Black Panther last episode,
which we liked, but not as an Oscar nom.
Yeah, nowhere near an Oscar nom, but we did enjoy the film. I mean, we're comic book guys. I mean, we were watching comic book movies when they were actually shitty. And every time, every time we're like, maybe this is going to be the one that's not going to be complete and utter shit and destroy my dreams. and that didn't start happening until like the year 2000 when X-Men was made. It was like, wow, they made a movie and it wasn't total garbage. And then, of course, when Spider-Man came out in 2002, it was like, that's it. They're making good comic book movies now. And they kind of been doing it ever since. I mean, there's been some bad ones, you know, like the reboot of Fantastic Four, or the original Fantastic Four, or the sequel to Fantastic Four. Or any Fantastic Four. They're all fucking bad.
But we're not here to talk about superheroes. We're here to talk about cops and Klan members.
That's right.
Now, full disclosure, I am the biggest Spike Lee.
Ooh, you broke up. Don't know what you said. Don't know if you're not a Spike Lee fan, or if you are.
I am not. I'm not a Spike Lee fan. Okay. At least not in a full sense where I like him as a person.
I haven't liked everything he's done, but I have liked some of his movies.
I like some of his films, and some of the films I don't like. I still appreciate for what they were, and then there's others I just don't like.
Yeah, like I liked that Son of Sam movie he did. Thought that was pretty good.
See, I didn't care for that. But that was me, because if you're doing a Son of Sam movie, do it about Son of Sam. Don't do it about John Leguizamo not wanting to get a blowjob from his wife. To me, that's not serial killer fun. No,
I will agree with that. And if you take away, a lot of from what that film did, it's not a Son of Sam movie. I liked that it involved a lot of different characters and the city, New York City, and all that. And it did only have a small bit of Son of Sam, but it was more based on how everyone was dealing with Son of Sam terrorizing the city. So
and the dog talks.
the dog always
stop.
The dog was. That's what Son of Sam said. The dog talked to him and told him what to do.
But that doesn't mean you have the dog talk in the film.
Yeah, it's like when John Carpenter decided not to have Christine talk. That's a smart fucking idea. And I've had people come to me and say, "Oh, I hated that movie. Why'd you hate that movie?" Well, the car talks in the book and has conversations and dialogue. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't mean that it's going to work well in a movie. So you know what? I applaud John Carpenter for not having that fucking car talk.
Right. So basically what I'm saying is I have kind of a mixed relationship with Spike Lee as a director.
Okay.
I loved this movie.
This movie was fucking great.
And I called beforehand that if this film should have been nominated for Best Picture, and it was.
And I love the fact that it came out in August and was remembered, because when movies don't come out earlier in the year, they completely get forgotten. You know, when a movie does come out and gets nominated like months later, that always makes me happy, because obviously the film had a lasting impression enough to be remembered. It's like, shit, that movie that came out a long time ago, that really deserves that nomination. Because the market, or I should say cinemas, get completely saturated with movies from pretty much October, November to the end of December. And then those, for the most part, a lot of the times, are the only movies nominated. Now, it's a power play from the studios. They put their best stuff, or what they feel is their best stuff, at the end of the year, because they know the nominations are coming out, and it will get more notoriety. But the fact that this movie came out over the summer, came out in early August, and was remembered by the end of December, is a big fucking deal. That shows...
a movie to remember.
Yeah, that shows its legs, that it has them, and that it deserves to be at the party.
Yeah,
and this is Denzel Washington's son.
Pardon?
This is Denzel Washington's son.
Right.
And he doesn't sound or look anything like Denzel Washington until near the end of the film, when he like yells something. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Denzel Washington's voice right there. I was like, there's no fucking mistake that is Denzel Washington's voice. I mean, that is like, it's not his face, but that is absolutely his voice.
Now, this is the kind of film I see as an Oscar nomination worthy film. Now, it's based on a true story.
Yep.
It's very topical for the time. I mean, it ties in, even though it's about stuff that takes place in the 70s. 70s, right? Late 60s, early 70s?
Yeah, no, it's the 70s.
Yeah.
Early 70s? Early 70s.
Yeah, early 70s. It's the racist aspect, like with your white nationalist, or back then the Klan movement, echoes with the recent rise of white nationalism in this country, even so much as having David Duke in this film, who is currently a huge Trump fan. And so you've got that aspect. But
he's gotten a little more exposure because this film was nominated recently, too.
Not great exposure.
No, not great exposure, but
Topher Grace was the perfect pick.
Well, and you know what? A certain someone talked to me about it and says, I couldn't enjoy this film. Topher Grace, that guy from that 70s show, is playing David Duke. And I'm like, and?
That's the point.
Exactly. And I'm like, and the dude, and I think they were also going along the lines of he looks too young, or he's from that 70s. The dude's 41 now. Topher Grace is fucking 41 years old.
Let it go.
Yeah, I know. It's like the dude's in his 40s. He'll be 50 before you know it. Just because he doesn't look like he's in his 40s doesn't mean he can't play this part. And
he'll
he's playing
still look like he's 20.
Well, he's playing a young David Duke, who is in his 20s or early 30s at the time when this time period is taking place. No, Topher Grace is perfect for this.
Yeah. But beyond all of that, the direction is brilliant.
Yep.
The performance is great. The screenplay, awesome.
Yeah, and I think it's nominated in all of those categories, right?
It's nominated for Best Director. It's nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay. What's his name?
Adam Driver.
Kylo Ren.
Adam Driver.
Yeah, he's nominated for Best Supporting.
They made a big deal that he was nominated, but Denzel Washington's son, I can't remember his first name, James something.
John David
Washington. He's not nominated, but his performance is fucking great too. It's like, if you want to talk about a snub, that's a snub right there.
Yeah, make of it what you will. Actors, as far as I understand the voting process, it's actors voting for these actors. So talk to them. That's
almost every category. It's peers, except for picture and directing. Is that
no? The only I think it's. I thought the only category that they revoked that on was animated feature, because they're trying to get more. Again, because they're trying to get more mainstream stuff in there.
Okay, so it is every category is voted by peers.
It's to my knowledge. I mean, well, Best Picture. I mean, I think everybody's a peer in that case, because. Well, and there's strict guidelines to you have to have worked so many times in the past certain years in that field.
Yeah, and you also need that to even get to get health insurance.
Right.
But
Best Picture. I mean, that's just. I guess there's no. If you work in films, period.
I know.
But everything else, you have to work under that specific category, director.
Yeah, and I didn't know if they segregated that in the fact that, listen, only directors and producers and studio heads can vote on the Best Picture, but actors and everyone else can vote on every other category. I didn't know if they did that, but
I don't know. I never looked that far. All I know is that nonsense with the Best Animated Shorts. They can make sure Wreck-It Ralph gets in there.
That was the Lego Movie, I think, was your original example.
Oh, that wasn't.
To give you the credit, I believe that was what you had mentioned.
Yeah, or that was just an example of that's it's Hollywood sucking its own dick. It's like, we got to get the big budget stuff in there. No one cares about Anomalisa. No one saw that shit. We have to get the Disney shit in there because Disney's bringing in the money.
I really fucking liked Anomalisa, but
but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know exactly.
They need the mainstream Disney crap in there. Pixar's got to get in there. Come on.
I think they have 2 movies this year in there. I think they have Wreck-It Ralph and they have Incredibles 2, which will realistically win.
I can't even talk about that. Back to BlacKkKlansman, a later subject. I mean, there are so many parts of the film that are still ingrained in my head. I mean, for me, the biggest genius part of the film, from a directorial standpoint, even a writing standpoint, is when Ron Stallworth, Denzel Washington's son, he goes undercover to a Black Power. I forget the exact name of the person, but it's like a Black Power rally.
Yeah.
And
that's right. He said he changed his name.
Yeah, and so it's a long, drawn out scene where they have the guy's speech, and they keep Spike Lee keeps focusing in on the faces of people in the audience with a black backdrop, isolating them. And why is he doing this? But I caught on eventually. I love the fact that what he was doing there is you from the far right, you always get this
breaking up
Black
again.
Lives Matter is just like them, or Black Panthers are just like them.
Yeah.
Right?
His name was Kwame Ture. That was the name of the activist leader. Who
Right, so-
he was. I was like, I know this guy. I know who he is. And he was in that movie Straight Outta Compton. He played Dr. Dre in that, and I'm like, oh my god, that's the guy. He was great in the film. Like he was great. And Ron Stallworth, he goes there undercover, and he's just like, I'm going to do my job. And by the end of it, he's like, yeah, fucking yeah, yeah.
Right. But the important part of it is really just focusing on the point that the difference between the Black Power movement of that time,
Right,
and the Klan movement of that time is one is trying to empower a group and their own group, and the other side is like, yeah, we have to
stop them from being empowered.
We have to kill Darky. Yeah, it's very hardcore. Blacks are inferior, and what the Black Power movement was trying to do was trying to like fight off the negative effects of this racism inherent in society and say, no, you're worthy, you're great people, you're beautiful people, and I think it was important to start off with that.
Right.
I mean, stuff like that. It just shows it's a well-crafted movie, screenplay, and I tell you, the other part I loved is the Nazi bunker scene with Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Where he takes him in the basement.
You're gonna take this fucking lie detector test.
But I mean, I think that Adam Driver deserved that nomination just for like scenes like that. He was. I could easily forget that he was Kylo Ren in scenes like that.
Well, he's a really good actor, and
he is.
He's kind of, because the Star Wars films are so popular and so huge, and Kylo Ren is a new character, and it's toys and costumes and all that shit. He's forever going to be associated with that, but he's done some really good stuff. What was the other film that he did? Oh God, it was the one where they robbed the NASCAR or the Indy 500.
I haven't seen that. Lucky.
Logan Lucky. Yes, you're right. That was great, and he was great in it too. It's like, what's his face? That director, Soderbergh. He's real hit or miss with his movies. Like, he'll make a bad movie or a movie that's not so great, and then he'll make a fucking great movie. And he'll go back and forth. He made a film called Unsane, and I haven't seen it yet. And it's filmed in a weird aspect ratio. It's not filmed in a widescreen aspect ratio. It's almost filmed like it was done from like a cell phone or something like that. It's that kind of grainy, but also not a full widescreen aspect ratio. It's kind of like a 4:3, but even like weirder than that. So that was done on purpose, and I don't know why. I haven't
watched it yet, but I have that as well.
I'm sure after watching the film, when you get to the end, you'll probably understand why it's in that aspect ratio, because obviously it's done for a reason. So that makes me intrigued to want to see it. But yeah, no, Spike Lee did a really amazing job with this film. Did you notice that in one of the scenes, it was when they're all watching the Birth of a Nation, and did you notice what he did there? Did you notice what he did there with a typical black stereotype is that they talk a lot during the film and they yell at the screen, that he had the white woman doing that like throughout the entire scene. It's like she's just yelling out stuff like nobody else is, just her. And it's like I see what you did there. And I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot.
I mean, what I like too is it kind of showed the absurdity of like Klan people. It showed the absurdity of the whole movement, but without not taking it seriously. I think my only problem with the entire portrayal is the
is what?
Of the main guy.
You got cut out. I didn't hear what you said.
My only problem is with the wife of the one character.
Oh, that was the guy with the bunker?
Yeah. So the one that was laughing and making all the noise during the birth of a nation. Yeah. I thought she was too okay. Let's get someone who's like not, like let's get a fat, unattractive woman. I'm not knocking the actress, but I mean it's like okay, let's put her in there, and it's too easy.
It was too easy, and her whole reason to exist was to make it easy to hate her.
It wasn't good. It wasn't comic relief. It was just, it was easy. It was an easy way out.
Yeah, definitely. No, I did notice that too. That it was just.
I'm not saying they should have got Jodie Foster.
No, I know what you mean. But she was chosen, and she was portrayed in such a way so that it was easy, real easy way to hate that character, so that when things happen, it's a kind of moment. So
also too, it's like you don't make it. All right, we're dealing with evil white people, evil white people here.
Right.
Don't make them all goofy white people too, and they didn't. But certain people, I think Topher Grace, they were like hedging a line, where he is he's instinctively a comedic actor.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
So, but like for that role, I thought it was a good choice, but. Again, you just can't be too heavy-handed sometimes. I thought it was for a film that's so complex, it was an easy choice. That's my only problem with it.
No, well, I guess if I had any issues with it, and the end product, I don't care, but when the film was being trailered, and a couple of the trailers made it seem like it was funnier than it actually was. Because this film does have comedic elements to it, but it is very far from a comedy. It's actually nowhere near a comedy. It's a serious film with some comedic elements. But the trailers make it look like you're going to be watching some laugh out loud type comedy in a couple of the trailers, And I don't like it when they do things like that, because I think it puts the wrong light on the movie. This is a better film than that. So that would be my only qualm, is I didn't really like how they portrayed it in the trailer.
They were selling it.
They were. And you know what? The end product, I really liked the film. I really loved the film, actually. So I don't care. I didn't watch the trailer until after I watched it, because I needed to get a trailer for this podcast. And I'm like, oh, they did that with the trailer? They made it look like a comedy? And I'm like, oh, that's not cool. Because you're right, they were trying to sell it. So I don't think anyone should have left dissatisfied, but if they did because they thought they were going to see a comedy, they probably were.
Well, I don't know. Professionals like you and I, we take trailers with a spoonful of doubt.
I still think you're right. I still think we need to do that bit called that I came up with a long time ago called 2.5 minutes. I really still like that idea. It's a long game, It's a slow burn for that bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll remind everyone what the bit is. We watch a trailer, we make a prediction on the trailer, and then at some point we either review the film or we've watched it and just bring it back to the show. And we see how close we were to our actual prediction.
I kind of did that with Escape Room. I took my book with me because I was going alone, and I actually wrote notes of, okay, here are my predictions.
Oh, really?
Based on the trailer. Yeah.
And how well did you do?
Oh, I nailed it.
See, this is the perfect bit for us.
Slightly off topic.
Yeah.
Real quick. Speaking of that, the one thing I forgot to mention when we were talking about trailers, this is a perfect example, about Escape Room. In the trailer when they're sitting around, and we talked about this because I mentioned House at Haunted Hill,
right?
Which the remake it would be for this, I think. But they start talking about the prize, and the one guy says, "Oh, and if you make it out of the escape room, you get $1 million."
Okay.
In the movie, it's $10,000.
I'm sorry, what? The trailer says $1 million, and the movie is 10.
Yes, and I almost I haven't gone back because I'm almost 100% positive I did not mishear the trailer, because again, $1 million, like that's such a round number that you see in other films. I immediately made that leap to the House on Haunted Hill remake. In the movie, when they said 10,000, I was like, wait a minute.
Jesus Christ. That episode just went up, by the way. Our January releases. So that's on YouTube now. Everyone can watch all the January films that are coming out this month. We have a whole episode dedicated to it where we watch the trailer and we talk about it.
You can watch it and you can watch the trailer and you can see if I was right about it being $1 million in that trailer, because I'm pretty sure it was.
There you go.
But just as far as, trailers selling the film.
Who would do that for, I mean, I guess they're just thinking they have to get out of an escape room, which is, a simple or a complex game. No one's actually going to get killed. So for 10,000, it would be like, yeah, I'll do that for 10,000. But for $1 million,
ideally, yeah, you wouldn't go in a room if you thought death was, yeah,
exactly.
So I did mention that this was also nominated for Best Supporting Actor, Best Director, and Best Screenplay.
Yep.
I forget if it's up for anything else. I'm looking real quick.
It's Best Adapted because it's it's actually based on a #1 bestseller.
Which is a true story. The whole movie actually happened. Again, they changed some things. Shut the fuck up. It's a dramatization. Now
it's also up for Best Original Score.
Okay, yeah, there it is. I was just looking now.
Which, to be honest, I could see it winning that. They might give it to Mary Poppins Returns, but it's also up for Film Editing, which, dear God, I hope it wins. Anything but Bohemian Rhapsody should win Best Film Editing. So it's actually up for.
Production design. No, that's Black Panther. Never mind.
So it's up for 5 Oscars. Picture, director, adapted, editing, score.
I would be okay if it won Best Picture.
I'd be fine with it for Best Picture.
I
hope it does.
Honestly, out of the 4 films we reviewed so far for Oscars, it's my favorite.
Stars Born, we did Bohemian, we did Yep, so far this is also my favorite film. Now, I've seen... Yeah. Well, no, of the films we've done for the podcast, I can say it's my favorite, but I've actually seen one other Best Picture nominee, and I'll save it for when we review that film, but it's Green Book.
Okay.
I enjoyed... That's my favorite film so far, of the 5 movies that I've seen.
Ooh,
now, I haven't seen Vice yet. I've seen some of The Favorite, but I haven't seen it all yet. And I haven't seen Roma yet either. So, I got 4 movies left to watch. Or 3,
I mean, right now, out of the 4 films we reviewed, I'm equally Star is Born and BlacKkKlansman as far as, like... I think because of the nature of Hollywood, A Star is Born is a bit more likely to win. But I'd be equally okay with either one of these
from what I've
going
read,
away with the gold.
From what I've been reading, Green Book is the front runner. Like, it's the movie to beat. That's what I keep reading. I can see why. We haven't reviewed it yet, but it's the film I've enjoyed the most. So far.
Also, I've seen the trailer.
I know how you may feel about the film, but it's better than what I think you're thinking. I don't know if you'll enjoy it, but
see, I'm going off. There's some controversy around the film too, and I'm going to be interested in talking about that when we review it.
Okay.
Because it's controversial stuff that I don't think is controversial. I disagree with the controversial stance on the film.
I think I know what you're talking about. So
I've seen it.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about, so I'm interested to talk about it when we do review it.
That's going to be an interesting episode.
Yeah, we don't know what 2 films we're reviewing next week, but it will be 2. And then the following week will be the last 2.
Yep.
So we got 4 left. I guess we should end this show, right? What do you think?
Yeah, what do you want to rate BlacKkKlansman?
What's it currently at? It's currently
7.5.
7.5. I'd go 8 on this.
You know what? Me too.
I think this is a solid 8.
Oh, one other thing I was not thrilled with in the film was at the very end, the whole shtick with the 2 people floating down the hallway.
Oh.
I get it. Stop. I didn't care for it. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's just.
I mean, you kind of knew what he was going for with it, but yeah, I'm with you on that.
And I thought that he kind of went back and forth between like stylized and realistic fairly well.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I was just like, That's all.
Okay.
It still worked.
Yeah, it did still work. It didn't take away from the film, but I definitely know what you mean. I'm on board with that. I'd go 8 on this. There's no doubt in my mind that this is at least an 8. Great film. Would not be disappointed if it won. As a matter of fact, I think the only film that I would be, and I couldn't say disappointed because if Black Panther won Best Picture, the fact that it's nominated has opened up doors for other comic book films that are worth being nominated. Like, for instance, I actually had this conversation very recently with somebody who said they thought that the Beauty and the Beast animated film was the best film that year, and Silence of the Lambs should not have won, and Beauty and the Beast should have won. And they were saying that year it got so close to an animated film winning Best Picture that's when they ended up creating the Best Animated Film category, so that an animated film wouldn't be a Best Picture nomination anymore. So what Black Panther being nominated does is it opens up the door for Best Picture comic book films that could potentially be nominated for Best Picture, ones that are deserving. Whether or not it does that, who knows? Maybe they finally say, shit, Black Panther got nominated, almost a comic book movie, a fantasy film comic book movie almost won Best Picture. We should create that that best popular category now. They might do the same thing that they did with the animated thing. Like, who knows what happens?
They said with that Best Picture category, they said, "Oh, we'll talk about that later." Like they said, it'll be up for discussion later. So that means like, oh yeah, we'll wait. Yeah, they're going to bring it up again.
They will bring it up again, but the fact that they nominated Black Panther might just put it permanently on hold, or just done. They won't do it.
Or that'll be the reason they do it, because they'll say, hey, if you don't think this should have been a Best Picture, then we got a category for you.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think that's a shit category. I think it undermines everything that they're trying to do.
Everything they do the fact that they don't have a host this year undermines what they're trying to do. Oh, fuck the Oscars.
Yeah, that's fucking dumb. There's just going to be like 30 hosts. That's everyone that goes up there and talks is going to be the host in that moment. That's basically what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to fucking suck.
I think Kevin Hart was the host for less than 24 hours before they got rid of him because of a tweet that he made years ago. Yeah. Same shit they pull with James Gunn. And you know what? I mentioned it last week. I mentioned it once before. I'm so fucking happy that Warner Brothers pulled the fucking trigger on that and said, you know what? Don't give a fuck what you tweeted. Make us great films because we know that you fucking can. So James Gunn is going to be the fucking savior of DC. He is going to do Suicide Squad 2, and I can guarantee you they're going to be so happy with what he does that he will take over different parts of the franchise. Justice League series, he's good at that. That's what he's good at.
And they'll shit on it anyway because it's DC. Fuck them.
Well, they'll shit on it anyway because James Gunn is directing it, because they can't let that shit go.
Yeah, they'll
like we talked about Wonder Woman not being panned. I can guarantee you that the second film It's like, you know what? We gave the first film a great review. We can give the second one a bad review now because we'll say it wasn't as good as the first one, and that's how we'll be able to pan it. That'll be their loophole. Like, you watch when Wonder Woman 1984 comes out. It's the reviews for it are going to be tepid. You know, they're not going to be like they were for the first Wonder Woman film. Somehow it's going to be, I can guarantee you, for the most part, they're going to be, it wasn't as good as the first film. This film does a lot of good things, but it totally misses what the first film did. And that's how they're going to be able to pan it. I guarantee
well, the first film did. That's Captain America.
I guarantee fucking it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got to get that drinking game started. No. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Episode 293 of Moviesucktastic. Thank you as always. Go to our website at moviesucktastic.com. Download the show there. Listen to the show there. Join us live every week, every Thursday at 8 o'clock, and hang out with us. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/moviesucktastic. Everything we post, from trailers to when we go live to just anything that fancies us, it goes there. You can go to our iTunes and you can download the show or listen to it on there as well. Leave us a review when you go there. We always appreciate it. You can leave us voicemail at 908-514-4470. You can also email us. The address for that is themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. We even have a Tumblr page, moviesucktastic.tumblr.com. You can download the free Android app for your Android device. Everything I said is in there, and it's pretty damn good. And that about does it for me. Mr. Wilson, any words of wisdom?
God bless white America.
I wouldn't have chosen those, but go for it.
It's from the movie.
I know it's from the movie. I'm fucking with you. It's like when I said, like 2 weeks ago, when I said, "You bleeding yet?" And you're like, "Whoa, I can't get on board with that." I'm like, I don't fucking mean it. It's just a joke. We did that when we did the Space Hunter episode. I was making a joke. It's like, I don't know if I can get on board with that. I'm like, dude, relax.
Anyway,
kidding.
God bless white America.
God bless white America. All right, everybody. White gold! All right. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.